Welcome back to our YouTube channel, The Book Digest. In today's episode, we're diving into a powerful and practical summary of Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And let me tell you, this is so much more than a book. It's really a testament to the absolute outer limits of what a human being is capable of. So, just look at this. The story of David Goggins is really the story of two completely different people living in the same body. I mean, on one hand, you have a guy who's almost 300 pounds, working a dead-end job, and just completely drowning in his own past. And on the other, a decorated Navy SEAL, a world-class endurance athlete, a world record holder. The gap between those two lives, it seems impossible, right? So how in the world does a transformation like that even happen? Well, to understand the man Goggins eventually became, you first have to understand the man he was desperately running away from. And that story, it starts at absolute rock bottom. A place that was built brick by painful brick over many years. Goggins' early life was just relentless. He suffered absolutely horrific abuse from his father that left him with deep, deep psychological scars. We're talking PTSD, learning disabilities, the works. And when his mother finally, bravely escaped with him, they landed in a town where they faced intense daily racism. All of this trauma just piled up, leaving him with this core belief that he was fundamentally worthless. By the time he hit his early 20s, all that weight, both the physical kind and the emotional kind, it had just paralyzed him. He was literally spraying for cockroaches for a living, using food to try and numb the constant pain of his reality. By his own words, he was a completely broken man. But, even in the deepest, darkest places, a single spark can sometimes be enough to light a fire. And for Goggins, that spark came from a pretty unexpected place. One night, he's just watching TV, and a documentary about Navy SEALs comes on. He sees these guys going through unimaginable physical and mental torture during their training, but the thing that hit him wasn't the pain itself, it was that these men were choosing it. They were actively refusing to let suffering define their limits. And right there, in that moment, he made a decision that sounds completely insane. He decided he was going to become one of them. That one decision kicked off an unbelievable journey. Remember, Goggins was nearly 300 pounds at this point. He had to completely remake himself, not just his body, but from the inside out. He had to forge an entirely new mindset. So that's the real question, isn't it? How do you do that? How do you build an unbreakable will when your entire life has taught you that you're weak, that you're broken? Well, Goggins' answer is a concept he calls callousing the mind. And it's just a brilliant analogy. Think about it. If you lift heavy weights, your hands get tough. They get calluses to protect them. He figured you can do the exact same thing with your mind. By intentionally putting yourself through hard situations, you build up mental calluses. Each time you push past that discomfort, your mind gets tougher, more resilient for whatever's coming next. And the ultimate place to test this idea? BUDS, the Navy SEAL Selection Program. At its heart is the infamous Hell Week, a 6-day ordeal specifically designed to callous the mind through just non-stop, unrelenting pressure. So first, they take away sleep. With pretty much no rest, your body and your mind are pushed to their absolute breaking point. You're forced to operate on pure will and nothing else. Next, they add constant biting cold. You're kept wet and shivering, pushing your body right to the edge of hypothermia. It's a physical attack designed to create this overwhelming mental urge to just give up. And finally, there's just relentless physical pain. Every muscle screams, every single task is agonizing. The whole thing is designed to make you want to quit more than you've ever wanted anything in your entire life, which is exactly the feeling Goggins wanted to conquer. And almost everybody quits. In fact, Goggins had to go through BUDS 3 times before he finally made it. Through that repeated trial by fire, he didn't just callous his mind, he actually built an entire arsenal of mental tools, weapons to win the war against his own inner weakness. The very first battle is always honesty. Because let's face it, we are experts at lying to ourselves, making excuses. So, how do you force yourself to confront the ugly, uncomfortable truth? Goggins' solution was something he calls the accountability mirror. Now, this isn't about looking in the mirror and telling yourself positive affirmations. No. This is about radical, painful, brutal honesty. It's a tool to look yourself dead in the eye and admit exactly where you are failing, with 0 excuses. And the process itself is, as you can see, brutally simple. Step 1, you write down your truths, all your excuses, all your shortcomings on Post-it notes. Step 2, you stick them right on your bathroom mirror. And step 3, you confront them every single day. You force yourself to look at your reality until you are so sick of it, you have no choice but to change it. Okay, so you've faced the truth. But what happens when you're in the heat of the battle? You know, when you're at mile 80 of an ultramarathon and your body is literally shutting down and every fiber of your being is screaming at you to stop. For that exact moment, Goggins created what he calls the cookie jar. It's basically a mental inventory of all your past wins. Every single time you overcame an obstacle, every time you pushed through pain and actually succeeded, you put that memory in the cookie jar. Then, when you're at your breaking point, you mentally reach in, you grab one of those cookies, and you remind yourself, I've been here before, I've felt this pain before, and I got through it then, so I can get through it now. Now, all of these tools, the calloused mind, the accountability mirror, the cookie jar, they all serve one master concept. This is Goggins' most famous idea, and it's one that will fundamentally change how you think about your own limits.
The number you need to burn into your brain is 40%.
Here's the deal. Goggins argues that when that voice in your head is screaming that you're done, that you can't possibly take one more step, that you have absolutely nothing left in the tank, you're really only at about 40% of your true capacity. You see, your brain is a survival machine. It's designed to protect you, so it sends out that stop signal way, way before your body is actually finished. That other 60%, that's where the real growth lives. It's this huge, untapped reservoir of potential that most of us never even come close to touching. But that, of course, begs the question, why? Why would anyone willingly push themselves into that much pain? What's the point? And this right here is the whole point. For Goggins, the goal isn't just to suffer for the sake of suffering. The goal is discovery. He believes that one of the most worthwhile things a person can possibly do is find out where their true limits actually are. Most of us live our lives so deep inside our comfort zones that we never even get a glimpse of what we're truly capable of becoming. Now look, Goggins' story is obviously an extreme example, but the principle behind it is universal. That voice in your head, the one that tells you what you can and can't do, it's not telling you the truth. It's telling you a comfortable lie. So the real question this whole book leaves us with is the one you see right here. What part of your 60% are you going to go after today?